Hey everybody, welcome back to Q2C VR Gamer for another first impressions playthrough of a game called Border Bots. Border Bots is a game that's kind of based into the distant future where robots have jobs and humans don't have jobs. But today's your lucky day because you've been selected to be one of the first humans ever to get a job. And it turns out that you are number one. What they call you, number one. You're the first person. And your job is a border crossing agent. So basically what this means is you need to approve, deny, and sometimes detain robots based on the paperwork that they provide you. Each day you go to work gets harder and harder based on the amount of things that you have to check on the paperwork for that robot that's attempting to cross into the city. So the things you have to look for are things like valid license dates, a valid type of robot, any declared mods that the robot may have made to his appearance, proper markings for the company that the robot is representing. They'll have a badge on them somewhere that you have to find if you can't see it right away, and make sure that it correctly ties to the company that they're representing on their paperwork. There is also a scale involved, so you have to determine whether or not the bot is overweight, and if it is overweight, perhaps it's hiding something. So now you have to inspect it a little closer and try and find contraband that it might be hiding inside of a little secret compartment. Contraband can be things like knives, cupcakes, plant life, bottles, dynamite, and a bunch of other stuff. Eventually getting to things like checking for counterfeit badges. So they may not be missing the badge, but the badge could be representing the wrong company. And there's some instances where actually you've got a machine where you can like laser off the badge that they are currently wearing, take it over to a press and press this new badge so that it is correctly representing what's on their paperwork. Other things in this little world, the mob is alive and well, something that I didn't think the future would hold, but the robot mob is real. They may get you to do things like letting criminals through that may have otherwise been detained or refused. They may even have you insert contraband items into unsuspecting bots so that they can carry these items through the security section and into the city. And now, when you converse with the mob, you can decide whether or not you want to or don't want to help them, and the story changes based on what you've decided. At work, you also have a rival. He sits in the booth next to you, and he's also your neighbor back at home in your apartment building. Sometimes he has some friendly competitions that he wants to do to see who can get the most, approved robots in a day, sort of thing. And otherwise, sometimes he, tries to sabotage you with little things. I'm not going to tell you what those are, but he'll try to sabotage your station. He is also the biggest brown noser and pain in the ass I've ever seen. So he's quite entertaining and quite involved in the storyline. So speaking of your neighbor, the rival, you do get a player house. You start off with a tiny little apartment that the game starts you in. And then once you get your job and you're making all this money, they give you this huge apartment with a bedroom, kitchen, bathroom, storage room, giant living space, as well as a patio. Lots of items in your apartment that you can interact with. There's lots of robots. At the beginning, you just have one who's kind of like your assistant. And eventually you get more robots, like your cleaner robot that cleans for you. Your router comes alive and becomes a little robot companion. You get a bunch more little robots that come in and out of your existence in this future world. I'm not going to spoil anything for anyone. There's a terminal in the house, in the living quarters, and in this terminal you can do all sorts of things. The biggest and most important thing I would say is the daily news. Every day there's an MSM, they call it, that shows up on your big screen TV in your apartment and gives you some news about what's happening in the world, what's happening with the CEO who runs the company that you work for, and may even allude to some of the daily tasks that you need to do when you're at your job. Another important thing from the terminal that's in your play space is the store. Inside the store, you can spend the money that you earn at work to buy things like cosmetic items for your apartment, posters for the walls, fish tanks, plants, cupcakes, food. You can even buy like tapes with different types of music that you can insert into the radio to make the music change. These items start to open up as you progress throughout the game, so don't expect to be able to buy everything right away. You need to level up in order to get access to the items in the store. And of course, there's the balcony at your apartment. The balcony is enormous. It overlooks a beautiful futuristic cityscape that's bustling with robots and cars and flying cars, and it looks absolutely beautiful. Too bad you can't climb off and interact with it because it looks so much fun. But there is a button on your patio that you push, and that button summons a taxi cab. Kind of like the Fifth Element space cabs. An unmanned cab flies up to your apartment and docks on a little bridge, or puts down a little bridge for you, and you climb aboard and it takes you off to work for the day. The storyline is really good. Every day you interact with your manager, and he tells you things that are going to happen throughout the day. So maybe you've got a new piece of equipment, a new scanning tool, new types of robots you may see. He also tells you what's on your display screens on the right side of your booth, which could include robots that are banned, different types of contraband that you have to look out for. There's a most wanted list that you get to eventually, where serial numbers and names of robots and things like that are listed for you to keep an eye out. One thing I forgot to mention is when you're on your patio and you're looking out over the city, you can see a construction zone right from the beginning of the game. And as you progress throughout the days, that construction is getting built more and more and more. The CEO of the whole world, or the company that you work for, I guess, she comes onto the TV every once in a while during the day when you do your daily news, and tells you, kind of hints towards things that are coming and what that project is. I'm not going to ruin anything for anyone or do any spoilers, so just keep an eye out outside of your apartment. You can see it through your windows as well as out on your patio. So let's go to settings. Some of the settings in the game are audio options. There's lots, both inside the settings menu and outside in the regular environments. Both in your booth and in your apartment, there's a radio that you can adjust the volume on or turn off, which disables the in-game music playing, which, as most of you know, is my favorite thing to do. There's lots of comfort settings. There's snap turning enabled, teleportation, free movement, movement speed that you can change, the degree of snap turning that you can change, and a seated standing mode. There's all kinds of options, which I love in these types of games. For me, myself, I played with both locomotion and teleportation and left it on snap turning. Once you're in your booth, you move around quite a bit yourself, so there is really no need for me to use thumbstick controls for... I don't even think there is thumbstick movement for turning. It's only snap turning. But honestly, there's so many things going on inside your booth that you're just turning in your play space or turning in your chair. I don't think I would ever use the thumbstick to rotate myself. Overall, BorderBots to me, I think was really good. It's a cute little game. The story kept me coming back. I think I'm actually on day 20 in the game, and I've hit level 9 through my level progression through my job. Categorized me as professional border agent. So I think that's really cool. There may be more levels to go. There's a lot more construction happening outside, so there's lots of things to do in this and lots of reasons to come back for more. Let me know down in the comments what you think of BorderBots. Is this a game that was on your radar? And if it wasn't, is it a game that's now on your radar? Thanks for watching, everybody. Make sure you give me a thumbs up on the video if you liked it. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we will catch you on the next one.